So my affiliation with the Atim Maskikhiy, or Dog Medicine Gallery, is that I was the project lead for the research project that it came out of. And so this was my PhD research. I started my PhD project in 2018 and then finished it in 2023. And so the project was working with folks in the Ronge tri-community area, talking about dogs and their relationships to humans, and particularly how dogs are managed and cared for in places that don't have regular access to animal health and welfare services. And so that was my primary focus because I'm a veterinarian and I've been working with that community and others for quite some time. We wanted to be able to illustrate some of the things that are going on in communities from the point of view of community members themselves. The initial launch of this gallery happened in Ronge at the Mistosnik Place government building in the town of Ronge. And that was in the summer of 2022. And so at that time, it was there for 2 full months. So folks in and around the Ronge area, as well as visitors to the community, were able to go and view the art gallery. And then we had a really beautiful event to kick off the current tour with the organization of Sask Arts Councils. And that was held at Wanuskewin in January of 2024. And so that was another opportunity for folks who had been involved in the project to come and travel down to Saskatoon and to be part of the launch and to share their thoughts and stories as well to a bit of an audience and to view the art all together in one space. So it was really, really a lovely opportunity, and we're having some of our artists attend the different showings of the gallery in different places around the province as well for various projects, which is a really exciting outcome too. In the Ronge area, there's a locally run humane society called Northern Animal Rescue Humane Society, and they've been in operation since about 2009 or so. And so they do a lot of on-the-ground work to rescue and rehome animals in and around the area. One of the big problems that a lot of communities like Ronge have is that there are a lot of animals and not a lot of access to animal health and welfare services. So when there's no local veterinarian, no local access to things like spay and neuter, no local access to vaccinations, it's really difficult to keep populations well managed and make sure that the community has the resources to actually care for all of those critters. And so it really is necessary to have a partner in the area where possible to help with some of that. But it's a bit of a band-aid solution. So we've been going in with my project and really offering those veterinary services a couple times a year since 2014 and trying to help get a handle on some of the challenges that this community experiences. And we work with other communities in the province too. Yeah, that's one of the big benefits, I think, of this gallery and the fact that it's been picked up for this tour is that it is going all around the province, and it's for quite some time, right? It's for almost 3 years. And so this is a really great opportunity for us to spread awareness. And I think a lot of people are aware that there are challenges with dogs in northern, remote, and Indigenous communities. But sometimes people don't realize that there are also really deep connections between people and dogs in northern, remote, and Indigenous communities, and that dogs are really important parts of people's lives. They're important parts of the culture. They're important parts of the community. And so what we're really hoping comes out of a lot of this is conversation, that more people become aware of what's happening, and that more people feel some empathy towards communities that just don't have access to the things that I have in Saskatoon, for example, or that a lot of us have. Community-based research has a lot of power, and this is a good illustration of that. So when we put a bunch of creative minds together and tackle a problem that's defined by a community, we end up with something beautiful like this gallery. And that's really lovely because there are so many different types of art that are featured in this gallery, and it really illustrates kind of the diversity that's present in the Ronge tri-community area as well. And I think that that's a really unique feature of this particular collection. There's also a lot that's coming through these pieces that is just the lived experience of these artists as people who've lived in the tri-community area for a period of time and who know how things happen between dogs and people in the area. And so it's really nice to sort of have that blend of not only what other community members were telling us, but also what our artists themselves feel and think about dogs. I love that we have pieces from some of our elders, so Elder Miles Charles and Elder John Halkett are both locally and provincially and nationally renowned artists, and they've both depicted the connection between people and animals and some of that traditional use of dogs as transportation and protection. So I really like those for that traditional element and that connection to elders and elders' stories. I also really love that we've got beadwork, and so having this depiction through a beaded medallion of the medicine wheel and how dogs are really a part of holistic health, and when dogs aren't healthy, then the medicine wheel, that holistic health can't actually be present, and that's not only for animals but for people too. I also love that we have fiber art. We've got some really vibrant acrylic or oil paintings. So Annalisa Hefner's piece, that's the biggest piece in the gallery, is really beautiful. And the list goes on. So I think that it's so hard to pick a favorite, and I think when people view this gallery, everybody connects with something different. And I think that is what some of the power of art is. And for us, I think as researchers, it's also important to recognize that very often our research doesn't reach much of the public. It kind of gets hidden in that world of academia. And so blending research with art is really an effective way, I think, to get those stories told and get those stories heard by more people of different backgrounds, people of different literacy levels, all of that. And so I think that it's difficult to pick a favorite, and I think that everybody will find something new and something different for themselves here. So if people are wanting to view the gallery, they can visit the OSAC website, which is just osac.ca. And there's a full list of the stops for this gallery between now and 2027. If you are someone who runs an arts council or a local gallery in your community and you'd love to have this gallery come to you, you can also contact OSAC to see if there's any space left. Also, there are opportunities to connect both with our artists and with our research team. And so if people are wanting to learn more about the artists and have them come and do some things in your community, that's also a possibility.
Are you an artist who's interested in appearing on maxTV Local? Let us know at SaskTel.com/local.